the other parts that the industry went through were, through some periods like the COVID years. This photo was taken in the Singapore Flyer, the capsule.
Yeah.
We organized an event in the capsule because back then, during the initial stages of COVID period, you were not allowed to go to a restaurant. So then we came up with the idea of saying, let's have a dinner inside the capsule. So each capsule had something like 6 people.
It was interesting, but it was quite torturing, because the flyer went 2 rounds.
2 rounds.
Went 2 rounds. It was really quite a long time. Anyone who went up there and not prepared, right? They'll be rushing looking for toilet.
Yeah.
It's 20 over years already for your company and my company. There could be some belief or something that you think that is important to grow the organization until what it is today.
One of the key thinking really is the realization that business will keep changing, keep evolving all the time. And I think the financial market overall is actually always growing. Demand for financial services is always growing, but what changes is the margin, the service requirement, etc. We need to keep improving, keep evolving. So we started as a unit trust platform, but we really need to be a wealth management platform where we can handle the various different products, including ETF, stocks, bonds, etc., even cash. Right? That's why today we have a bank within the group. So for iFAST, it's a constant push to broaden the range and depth of the services that we're able to provide to our partners and our customers. By doing so, then we can ensure that we are able to continue to grow and to stay ahead. I think this photo shows Financial Alliance receiving an award because when we put down additional product, but we actually find that not all FA firms actually embrace the new products that are being put on the platform. I think for some, there's a tendency to want to stick to doing things the old way, but certainly Financial Alliance have been always forward-looking.
Our business may be slightly different from you because you run the platform, but for companies like ours, we have shareholders, we have the employees, we have one big group of self-employed partners. I call them partners, which is our consultants. MAS would want us to see them as almost like our employee because they want us to have responsibility to manage them. In my belief, I always treat them like a partners, alright? So with a lot of respect. We need to always have this, make sure that we are able to manage this delicate balance. Our people want to be successful, our people are entrepreneurs, otherwise they wouldn't want to come into this business, right? How do we strike that balance between helping them to be successful, to be able to earn as much income as possible, and at the same time, make sure that Financial Alliance is a company that is quality and everyone does their job professionally. This balancing act is very tough actually. It's very tough. I would say that over the years, this is one of the things that we think we have done pretty well, right, for Financial Alliance, because we didn't really go that extreme as in singing the tune of professional outfit where everybody got to be doing their job 100% professional without considering entrepreneurship of our people. So I think we have found the formula over the last 23 years. We have found the formula, and that's why we have been able to grow to this size. Interestingly, just talking about business growth, right? When I was very young in the industry, I remember there was one day I visited one of my business clients. He shared with me something. The moment you started expanding your business, there is no stopping. When I was very young, when he shared with me this thing, I don't quite understand. And those days I was, I was an advisor. I don't really think about business, like running an organization. So, but I remember that very, very clearly. After 23 years of running an organization, I can fully understand what he meant. For iFAST, it's the same thing. I could ask you this same question. 25 years already, you've grown from nothing to where you are today, 1,000 over employees, huge market capitalization. Can you stop? When are you going to stop? Can you continue to grow? Would there be any difficulty? So these are challenges that all of us are facing.
Correct. Yeah. I think I appreciate this particular point very well. In fact, for myself as well, when we started the company year 2000, I didn't start off wanting to be an entrepreneur, to be a CEO running a business and so on. In fact, when we first started, I was a non-executive chairman. That's my original intention. Then I realized that when you start a business, you can't stop. You just have to keep
Keep
going, you have to look for a way to ensure we succeed. Like you say, I think it's not just about what you want. It's also not just about the shareholders. It's about the entire different group of stakeholders, employees, and we have to keep evolving. And for things to work well, we have to keep pushing for improvement for everybody. And overall business growth, financial growth will typically be part of the requirement to ensure that the company remain healthy, all stakeholders are able to continue to progress.
You know, I now understand why that businessman said that, you know, business once expanded, there's no stopping. And I fully agree that if you want to continue to expand, you must evolve. If you don't evolve, you can never continue to expand. You continue to do what you used to do and expand your business, you will hit roadblocks. There will be obstacles, there will be plenty of challenges that you have to overcome. But only with the kind of mindset that you're willing to embrace changes and evolve from time to time and think of new strategy, then I think it is possible that continuous growth and progress is possible. Any one of us, soon one day we will have to take a back seat, right? Okay, and if these are things that is not being passed down and made to become a culture of the organization, then one day the organization will stop progressing, will stop evolving, right? So I think this is something that I felt strongly about. Yeah.
In the last 10 to 15 years, I think competition within the FA industry became a lot more intense. From my perspective, that also coincided with what I call the second phase of the FA industry. So I, earlier talked about the first phase. That's when the independently owned FAs essentially emerged and grew in a big way. But subsequently, I think we went to phase 2, and phase 2 is when the insurance company got into the game.
The Thai FA.
By now, I think every single insurance company have a subsidiary that has a FA license. Every one of them has a Thai FA already. And I suppose when the insurance company got into the game, the level of competition went up because of using their insurance product margin to help subsidize the business as well. So that probably partly explain why you felt the competition intensified quite a bit last 10 to 15 years. I somehow feel that we are about to enter into the third phase of the FA industry. I think in this third phase, I'm guessing that we'll probably start to see some consolidation, perhaps, because I think the requirement in running a FA increase, right, in terms of requirement in various aspects, be it financial compliance or technology, etc. All that have continued to scale up. So I think, yeah, we probably will be entering a third phase.
I think given that the FA industry already been around for 20 over years, if we talk about consolidation, it's not surprising. The industry is very diverse. It's not industry whereby only, like, for example, you talk about your industry, it's just a handful of them. Maybe there is no need for consolidation to happen. But for FA industry, it's very diverse. There are just many companies, big and small. I do agree, maybe we are entering into a phase where there is a possibility of some M&A action that may happen. But I believe if it is something that will help to elevate the industry and help firms to take themselves to the next level, it is positive. Future is always unknown, but if we always stick to certain belief in terms of doing the right things for all the people, in terms of believing in delivering what is good for the organization, what is good for the stakeholders, I think it will never go wrong. Any best decision that we make for our business?
I think many decisions have been made along the way, but for us, as an investment platform, in the very early years, so one of the decisions I made was about the IT system. We're looking at how to build a unit trust platform, what system to use, and so on. And my colleagues, the COO and CTO, were evaluating some external IT vendor in terms of whether to buy the system and so on. But along the way, I told them they can stop evaluating, all right? Because I'll decide. My decision was we'll build in-house. I feel that that's one of the most important decisions that we have made. Building the system in-house allows us to keep improving on our platform, keep progressing. And I suppose that's also partly explained why in our industry, there aren't too many players because you need to constantly improve our IT system, keep evolving, and IT is something whereby you find that not all businesses are able to keep up at the same pace.
Interestingly, we had about almost the same experience. We took 9 months to try a US system. So there was a bit of customization needed, but after 9 months, I told the vendor that we're going to give up, and we started hiring our own programmer to write our own system. And now I look back, it was a right decision because our business is unique. You want to develop a system that is unique to your business processes. If we look on a long-term basis, right, you don't want to be held ransom by a vendor. Over the years, fortunately, we have been able to build up, have significant progress in terms of our IT development also. Of course, for Financial Alliance, our journey as a largest IFA for last many years was also very important. Very keen competition in the market. So when competition was so keen, you have to decide how you differentiate yourself. We understand that we qualify to brand ourselves as an IFA. Of course, initially, when we started with that, there was also a lot of anxiety. There are a lot of gray areas, but I decided that we simply should just do it. We simply should just do it because we think that that is the right things to do. So we brand ourselves as an IFA, and then some years later, we look around, nobody is bigger than us, so we decided to brand ourselves as the largest IFA. That period of time was a time whereby people were competing with other things. They were competing with packages, we were competing with incentives. So if we don't have those things, then how are we going to compete? So we need a differentiating factor. It works. Since then, for that many years, we saw our business grew, all right? We also formed a very strong culture within the organization. A culture that people know that we should always believe in doing the right things. I have one interesting question for you. There are a lot of tech companies choose to list in other places like US, Hong Kong. Why you choose to list in Singapore?
I think that's a question that have popped up quite often, and indeed for us, for myself, before we decided on the listing, we thinking about these questions as well, because Singapore is a relatively small market compared to Hong Kong, compared to US. And at one time, Hong Kong was deemed to be far more exciting market, much bigger market, much more liquidity. Companies on average were having higher valuation. So that question actually was there, right, as to where should we list. But subsequently, we decided that Singapore is the right venue for us. And that thinking is, to a large extent, predicated on the belief that in the end, what really matters is to what extent do the shareholders understand our business? How comfortable are you with the business? So if you're comfortable, then you'll be more willing to buy the share. You're comfortable or you understand the growth strategy, growth potential a lot better, then you give a higher valuation. Investors in Singapore, be it the fund managers or individual investors, they actually understand our business better than would the investors from Hong Kong or US, etc. So we feel that if we list in, say, US or in Hong Kong at a time when overall market environment was good, it's possible that in the short term you may get higher valuation in the market, but in the long run, that following may not really follow through. And I also feel that a small fish in a big pond is not the best idea. Then I think that's where the greater differentiation comes in. Internet has changed the world. These days, trillion-dollar tech businesses become increasingly common. And internet has also opened up the opportunity. So if you have a business model that allows you to be more scalable, operate from a few countries, have a good model, good platform, able to attract customers from all over the world or more countries, then I think the potential is much bigger. So that's how we see the potential for ourselves and for a lot of our partners. Yeah, so I think that will be an interesting decade to come.
Financial advisory business is always been people-oriented, and I always has this strong belief that there has to be a marry between technology and the human advisor, so that advisor will be able to truly leverage on technology. In today's context, we are talking about generative AI being very visible already. When I spoke about that many years ago, we don't know anything about ChatGPT, right? But when I got to know about generative AI, personally, I was very excited. And I think generative AI will make my vision very feasible, right? But it will take a lot of resources to make it happen. Financial advisory company is one where I'm able to really operate like a hybrid advisor. And this hybrid advisor is one where you don't have to do most of the thing most of the time, because a lot of the things that you have to do, you need to do, can be carried out by the AI. And it is true. At this moment, a generative AI can do a lot of things. What we need to do is that we just need to make use of this technology and then customize it to every individual consultant. Every individual consultant is also unique, because each consultant, you have your own profile. You have your own business preference as well. I hope in the future, we will be able to develop something like this. So we embrace technology, at the same time, we continue to embrace the human advisor business, because I still think that consultant-driven business model will still last for many, many more years to come. And this will be a very important milestone if we could achieve it. And I think it will be a big breakthrough for us the next 10, 20 years.
Thank you. Some questions cannot be handled entirely by AI yet. It keeps improving, but not fully there. So it's still supplemented by human customer service. But the long-term goal is perhaps 80-90% or more can be handled by AI.